It was the most powerful political idea in history. A new faith for skeptical atheists. It promised a world of harmony and abundance. If only property was shared by all and distributed equally. The idea was simple, and it spread farther and faster than any religion in history. Then, in almost the blink of an eye, it all collapsed. In this series, we trace the rise and fall of an idea that changed the world. An idea that promised a heaven right here on Earth.
Old beliefs rooted in religion and superstition were abandoned in favor of new ones, supposedly based on science and rational thought. One of these new ideas was called socialism.
Anyone who would live in his properties there at New Manor had to live by his rules, and they were very specific. How often they had to put out their trash, how often they had to bathe, when people needed to be home at night, the fact that they couldn't be publicly drunk, they had to spend time with their families, those kinds of things.
He felt you could actually mold human character, and he in fact said it is of all truths the most important that man's character is made for, not by himself. So he's an environmental determinist. And he believes that if you can begin virtually at birth and have this child in a superior environment, then you will, through education and liberation of this person's intellect and spirit, you will actually produce a perfect character.
He called this the second coming of the truth. I think he really did believe he was the second Messiah, that he had come, unlike Jesus, who could only tell the truth in parables. Owen, on the other hand, could actually say the literal truth, because he had the science.
People took Owen seriously. When he arrived in America in 1825, a joint session of Congress was convened to hear his ideas. Before an audience that included President James Monroe and President-elect John Quincy Adams, Owen announced he had purchased an entire village in Indiana. There, he would further the work begun at New Latin. But this time, his community would be one of true equality.
If you think of Indiana at that time period, it was the wilderness. And here in the middle of the wilderness, you had this beautiful town of brick and clapboard houses, a magnificent cruciform church in the middle of town in the commons. It was very sophisticated. It was called the Athens of the West at that time.
On April 27, 1825, Robert Owen welcomed 800 eager arrivals to the town he had rechristened New Harmony. One group in particular was attracted to New Harmony: intellectuals. The village soon became a center of progressive thought and experiment.
You had education at all levels, from infant to adult education. You had a newspaper being published. You had natural scientists out exploring the environs of New Harmony and beyond, creating natural science books to show people about the wonderful new species they're finding in the Midwest. You had people lecturing about equal rights for women. You had people lecturing about abolition. This was in 1827, 1828.
To coincide with the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in July 1826, Owen issued what he saw as the next step in the liberation of humankind: the Declaration of Mental